TV, where your vibe meets the tribe you see. We're dancing through life, chasing the light, making every moment feel so right. Ooh, it's your time. Ooh, and just shine. No matter who, no matter where, Luna's got love in the air.
Where your vibe meets the tribe, let's go.
Lifestyle TV, where your vibe meets the tribe you see. We're dancing through life, chasing the light, making every moment feel so right. Ooh, it's your time. Ooh, and just shine. No matter who, no matter where, Luna's got love in the air.
Where your vibe meets the tribe, let's go.
Good afternoon and welcome to Luna Today. My name is Lombechiti. You are catching us live on Topstar Channel 105, that of course on the Copper Belt and different parts of the country. You are also catching us live on Facebook, Luna Lifestyle TV, on Instagram, Luna Lifestyle TV, and on YouTube, it's Luna Lifestyle TV ZM. Today I have the privilege of talking to a legend, a man that has made us laugh at different generations. Some jokes I even heard my mom tell me when she's shouting at me. Bob, yeah, I just preempted it. We are talking to the legendary Bob Nkosha. He has gotten to be known, of course, by many of us as Uncle Bob because of, the warmth that he just gives us when you met him. It's like you are a child who did not have parents, then you meet Uncle Bob, and he gives you this warmth. Uncle Bob, welcome to Luna Today.
Thanks, Lombe, and really glad to be here.
Uncle Bob, we grew up laughing and just hearing, first of all, seeing you on ZNBC. Did you ever imagine yourself as this person as a young boy? Let's say 5, 6, 7 years old?
I had a love for performing arts, I think, very early. I was privileged to go to a school that really encouraged arts. We did plays. Every Wednesday was school assembly for plays, and also we had teachers that really encouraged us to of performing arts, because I think it was part of the school curricula for you to be able to learn speech and drama, to be able to express yourself well, and just to be able to manage yourself, because that's what the arts do to you. So by the time I was 8, I wrote my first play.
Oh wow! You actually wrote it down.
Yes. One of my actors is still around. Is practicing. He works in Lusaka. Was one of my characters. In that, I was only 8, and then thereafter, I think 8 or 9. I can't remember exactly, but about 8 thereabout.
And it was like a stage play.
Yes, it was a stage play, and it was called The Poacher.
We need to reenact it, Uncle Bob. Don't you think we need to bring this?
That was done by an 8-year-old. I think then, if there was a competition, I would have won some form of competition. It's been a sharp mind in terms of art. So by the time I was 12, I'd featured in so many plays at school, the concerts, all the concerts. I got a character. Now, most of the concerts were doing musical concerts. Now I couldn't sing, but somehow the teachers found me something to do in the concerts, and most of the things that they gave me to do were comedy. I didn't realize it was funny, but I just found my friends laughing each time I went on stage.
And it would come natural?
It would just come natural. For me, they give me lines, I want to push them, and they tell me it's going to be comic, and I bring it out like that. So the teachers in my early life, the early learning teachers noticed that I had a talent, but suffice to say, I was also a keen athlete. So I did 100 meters, did 200 meters, I did high jump, I did long jump, I played volleyball, I played rugby, I did swimming, I was captain of a school team.
Looks like the list is going good.
Exactly.
But then
so
what happened
I
to
played
the-
cricket.
You still
Because
play cricket?
I played cricket then, and tennis, and squash,
Wow.
and badminton. So I was an all-rounder sports person, and now I just came to just zero down into the arts and nobody else. But I think
And that for me is already like questioning. I'm like, you could have made your money from all those sports
Exactly.
you mentioned.
for soccer, my dad played soccer in Rokana United, which is now Nkana Football Club. He played soccer then, so I think the sports DNA comes from there. My mom was an actress at church. She used to do a lot of acting at church. So I got the best of both.
So now you just let go of the sports side of
Yeah.
you and just narrowed it down to the comedy.
Well, I still play soccer here and there. You know, I'm the most feared player by the musicians.
Actually, umfathi banaya.
Bad!
Mwali bachitefi lo
Bad! Bad, I don't remember in what I did.
Chikangafundisha pona olwimbo.
Alifunyana said, "No, me buy it off." So that they touch money catch ule idishanya.
Atulelira.
Abakulu balite ako shadi, you know, bali abakulu. Yeah, but that's my early life. I think we were privileged to have schools where they let you find yourself. They give you so many things, opportunities. They even gave me an opportunity to learn how to play piano, but I think it
Was
wasn't
it just
for me.
your area of interest?
Yeah, but I would occasionally, when we're coming out of music class, I would like go ding on the
Just
on
to
the
get the
piano.
note right.
You know. So yeah, I think that's a privilege that we're not giving kids today. You know, we've got schools that don't even have a playground.
Exactly.
We've got schools that don't even have any form of sporting item. There's no food, there's no ball, there's no what. And the schools that do have that privilege, they are charging kids to play soccer at school.
I also don't understand.
And Ministry of
that.
Education is looking and watching because that is the foundation. That is the tomorrow of that the Zambia national team. And we sit there and say, "But Zambia, but look at what we're planning, what we're putting together, how we've destroyed school athletics."
Even just extracurricular activities.
Exactly.
You would have extracurricular activities away from sport because you spoke about the acting and the
Yes.
singing. At my school, we had that.
Uh-huh.
So the singer in me was built from
From-
being able to sing from primary school. So we had different extracurricular activities.
So
know.
without the school, where are you going to find out that you can sing?
No, trust me, because I
So
had
they
a very
get-
annoying voice. Very high pitched, but because
See, so they gave you something to look at.
yes.
They made you find yourself. So the schools, our schools, made us find ourselves. You did everything you could do, and then when you go into the compound, you are mixing with other kids, and each and every kid is introducing a game of some sort, a traditional game, whether it's playing what we used to call Masako or Broadway, there was Waida, there was
De Mama.
exactly, and you do that, and sometimes we go into the bush to hunt with our catapults, and we also made those little guns with Lunsonga, you know, and we played soccer even out of school holiday.
In the road, you block the road
Exactly.
and you put two stones.
Bam, bam, you're lplaying.
So what is
now, Lombe,
What is
kids
the
are told
ministry
that
doing that they should be doing?
what the ministry is doing is ignoring their duty that they need to supervise the schools that are all over the place that have got no standards. Right now, we have convent schools telling kids not to go on holiday. It's a holiday. It's a government instruction. Kids must rest for a month because it's in that month that you're going to meet your relatives, your extended relatives. That's a month we went to go and visit our grandparents in the village. That's the month we go to know Auntie Safi and Phoebe and all these aunties that live in other towns. We go to learn other towns, learn other ways that people live. Because the children of today cannot live with anybody else if their parents die.
No, not at all.
That's why they sit and just sell off whatever the parents created.
And they don't even have the ability to carry it on.
And guess what? Who's encouraging it? It's the schools. And especially schools run by the church.
So I mean, you had this privilege of education. Was it only at primary level, or it went on up to secondary school?
I was very lucky because after I left primary school, I went to a school that was also art inclined. We had visual arts, and our deputy headmaster was an actor
Interesting.
who was actively acting when he was already deputy headmaster.
I now see why you're passionate about talking about how the education system
Yes.
has taken away the functionality
You know what they've done?
side and just left it up to the academics. Because not every child is
That's what I was looking
academic.
for. That's the word I wanted to say. It's you've given academicians to run the schools. So what are they going to teach the kids? Mathematics and science? What about the real life? What about social life? What about what's going on out there? What about just news?
And even just content creation, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
Digital life, I mean, we had that young boy from America, Speed,
Mm.
Aisha Speed, who's famous online. And the only thing he went around doing was creating content, and he's
Chapa.
getting paid millions of that.
Chapa. But you give academicians, even the universities have got academicians who think book is book and is book. So
But-
at the outside the book, there's a lot of learning to be done. Look at, I'll give an example of medicine, Lombe. We were taught that African medicine is evil, it's demonic. No, but you see, what happened was that you throw away the dirty water with the baby.
So we were just supposed to remove the tumadolis.
Yeah, there are those
The
that,
voodoo
are,
type
those,
of
but
thing.
those are not medicine men.
Those
Hear
are
me.
Those are witches.
Even in England, there were witches. Remember,
Yeah.
Even in England, there were witches, but they could not differentiate the doctor between the doctor and the witch. Why? When the Muzungu came, they looked around. They didn't say university, and said, "You cannot know how to do medicine without a university." But the guys were talented. What's happening now? The Muzungus are back and saying herbal medicine is it.
And they still want a stake in it. Wow, you know, Uncle Bob, I'm here to talk about your
Exactly.
and it
So
looks like
I left
what's,
school.
what's interesting is that what's interesting is that you are coupling your experiences and what we have now.
Yeah.
And the gap is seemingly concerning.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying I'm emphasizing on school, guiding you. So what I'm doing here, Lombe, what I how I earn my living, Lombe, was decided by an 8-year-old.
An 8-year-old who wrote his first play.
Yes.
Because he
So
went
he
to a
decided
school
then, yes.
that allowed him to tap into his creative side.
And because there was continuity to secondary school, by the time I was in, well, now it's grade 10, I was writing plays, directing plays. By the time I was 17, I won the best director in the country.
Wow.
I was only 17 at school.
That if you were in an international or developed country, sorry to say, would have just changed your whole...
I wouldn't have gone doing whatever I did. I wouldn't have gone to an engineering school and everything. That was misplacement. You know? They would have taken me direct to an art school, but we didn't have that. We didn't have that. The closest we had was going to teach visual arts, because I'm also a visual artist. I won an award. I think 10, or I think I was 12 then. We used to have these art awards at the showgrounds in Kitwe. So I won an award then for visual art. So the only closest thing I could think when I finished school was going to teach visual arts. But then somebody just a friend of mine says, "You will look for a teacher," that kind of thing, because our teachers were a little bit munguru. Our teachers.
Wow, my mom was a teacher. Uncle Bob.
No, okay.
I want to understand the level of that won't lie. Her sense of fashion is something we always used to say, like, "Mom, why are you wearing
We
all
had
the
teachers
same
that
suits?"
wore the same sweater throughout. We had
Very
this
cool.
teacher-
You know, because we hang wire.
Twakweta teacher wakwete sweater, yakadipangika kakumunwe, so because he had holes in his trousers. So then so kuna donsa sweater kunu
Fancy,
paje shinga. So namba kadi verere ka sweater.
Carry that one side.
So at the end of the day, I didn't want to be a teacher, but I loved art. But then there was pressure of me going to college and so forth. So I did go to college through the mines, and I joined the mines, but it was not me. By the time I was 31, I looked around my house and I realized that everything I bought in the house, it was from my hustle as wedding MC. And I realized at that stage that I was subsidizing the mines. Now, who does that? I was subsidizing the mines because my wife would put some lunch for me to go and eat at work, which it was not earned from the workplace.
But there's always been this assumption that the mines were paying, have always been paying our
No.
our locals well.
No, before they were not paying as well. But even now, what they're paying is still not good enough for me. You see
Compared
I mean?
to what an expatriate will get.
Yes, and also what I would get if I jump around in a skirt. You see what I mean, eh? So at the end of the day, I said to myself, look, I'm not going to subsidize a mine. These people are selling copper and they're selling it in London and they're getting dollars. And this is what they're giving me. I can't even afford to go for dinner with my wife. You see what I mean, eh? I cannot afford... we're at a time where we used to wear shoes from work, the boots. You go for a party in a boot,
safety boots.
All our clothing, we have to go to Salaula.
Wow.
You couldn't even get to a shop
I've
and buy.
never heard that side of
The mines,
yes, because
We used to
everybody
go
who claims.
second-hand.
Wow.
But we used to go second-hand clothing. If you buy a shirt, it's in Congole. And you find that in the mines, you get these people who bring in Congole and you find that you wear the same shirt throughout because it's one person that's... We had these loyalty shirts that I got L here and they were in different colors and you all Congola for you to wear a brand new shirt. So I decided from there that I was going to go out. And then obviously it didn't sit well with family. Look, there was no industry. Absolutely no industry in comedy.
And what year is this what we're talking about?
2001.
Yes, I do remember that. I was very young, but I do remember that the industry then was very...
Even the musicians were not making money. We were not making that much money. But I said, I'm going to create an industry and I'm going to pay myself. And I said, look, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? If I sat back like my friends, most of my friends got jobs and stopped. They became career people, they became whatever it is. And then I felt like, look, if everybody leaves, this is going
to
this
die.
Is it. This is it. Because there was also a period where musicians started getting jobs.
Yes. And before you know it, we're even
Between
celebrating
95 and 2000, we had a lot of the people that were practicing art were just doing it as part-time. I think I was among those first few, probably the first one in terms of comedy to do it full-time and a business.
And so you left your job?
I left my job.
Completely?
Absolutely.
Weren't you worried that...
The first year was tough.
I had
2001 I had 3 kids, eh? You're going to realize that. I had 3 kids and it was tough. Yes, my wife was working, but it's a woman's salary. It doesn't count. You're not going to work so I started pushing and pushing and pushing. I tried some business to back up, but it didn't work. So I just started pushing for that. I said, look, if I don't do it, nobody else will. What we're looking at the comedy industry today is what we pioneered. By the time we pushed into Zambia One Comedy, we were already now pushing the audiences into the hall, into the auditorium, into the theater clubs like Lusaka Playhouse and so forth, and Kitolutu Theater. We tried to make it professional, but it was tricky because some of our members were like, "Wa push up in defo kufola papen 23 hours, mwe push up perform at defo kufola papen." I just pushed and we got a guy called Caesar Masina to come and manage us as comedians. He tried, obviously he was being bullied, not because he's short, but he was being bullied with the fact that no, my manager pay us, this is midnight, what, and I just said, Caesar, don't be nice to us.
Manage us.
Be the boss of us. Be the boss of us. So he managed us for a while, but of course, it wasn't easy. And then we had to pull and push here and there. So I decided to leave and I created my own stuff. And when I created my own group, which was Doric and the Big Dudes, comedians. It was comedians.
I remember Derek and the Big Dudes.
Yes, and we were doing this tour. It was called anyway, I forget. So we started with the sketch comedy, and then one day I just said, guys, we're not doing any sketches today. We're all going to do stand-up comedy. After all, we do this stand-up comedy in the weddings.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
And then we went to SBM and they gave us suits, and we went to the Lusaka Playhouse and performed 100%.
Stand-up comedy.
There were people that were used to sketch comedy. They were like, no matter what one of my sketch, if you just could underfish, But we said, hey guys, this is what others are doing. Let's push with it. Fortunately, in came Mnet, DSTV, and then they came and said, look, we're going to do a competition for stand-up comedy. Obviously, the contact person was me. So I said, oh, okay, cool. How do we do this? Then I didn't want to participate. I was like, by that time I was busy. Like I was having shows every weekend, Friday, Saturday, sometimes even Sunday. And corporate events right in the middle of the week. And I said, look, I'm not going to waste my time just doing a competition and then I'm not getting paid. There's only an award. Maybe I won't even win. So I did participate, and a lady who was in charge says, look, Bob, if you're not part of this, you're the brand of comedy in this country. If you're not part of it, it won't make sense. Everybody's watching this because you are in it. So, okay, cool. Let me do it then. So I pushed it. I won the best. I won the award and so forth. And I went back and I called the runners-up guys. So let's create. That's how we create now the Dork and the Big Dudes. And we did a tour throughout the country. And I think that was the birth of stand-up comedy in Zambia. Now today we have over 50, 100 stand-up comedians.
And I look at your association, the Comedians Association of Zambia now, and like there's a lot of comedians that are coming up. I was asking the VP, Mr. Nkano, and says we have over 300 registered members.
Yes.
And I'm like, registered members over 300. What has been your lowest point looking back at where you're coming from?
My lowest point, I think, is where my fellow artists had this petty jealousy and were always shooting me down. Because when we created, me and some colleagues, when we created the Comedian Association of Zambia, and we sat down in terms of getting an executive, the youngsters rallied against it. No, not Bob, it shouldn't be champ, shouldn't be.
Why is that?
I think sometimes you just feel that, look, this guy, where you think people are giving me favors.
Like you're making more than your friends.
Exactly, like I'm doing that, I'm getting that because I'm getting favors from people, but not realizing that I'm just a hard worker. Yeah. I work hard, I run around, I ensure things happen. I am there when I'm doing my show. I am checking out my technical side of the show, and I'm somewhat what you can call a perfectionist when it comes to performance. So in due course, people have trusted the brand. People have trusted that whatever Bob is going to arrange is going to be good.
Because
I don't
he's
leave
involved.
anything unturned.
The reputation has been built.
Exactly. So, and then the networking, and I don't burn bridges. You call me for your wedding, I do it. I'll make sure I'll do the best I can. But if you delay on my payment and I come and shout, yeah, right at the wedding there and so forth, I kill myself because you are going to be my marketer. Sorry.
It's okay.
You're going to be my marketer.
All about if you're coming up. One throw for history about Bob.
Now I never comedian.
Well, we'll be taking a short break. Just stay tuned as stay tuned to Luna Lifestyle TV. We'll be taking a short break.
Lifestyle TV, where your vibe meets your tribe, you see. We're dancing through life, chasing the light, making every moment feel so right. Ooh, it's your time. Ooh, and you shine. No matter who, no matter where, Luna's got love in the air.
Where your vibe meets the tribe, let's go. a tribe, let's go.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us. We're still here with the legendary Bob Nkosha, and you're watching Luna Today on LunaLives.tv. My name is Lombe Chidi. Before we went on to that break, you know, Uncle Bob was just sharing with us one of his lowest moments, and I could see the emotion in your face and just in the tone of your voice on how painful it's been that you are building this industry and you're hoping everybody can benefit from it. And others see you as the one that's blocking their success because it appears you are seemingly succeeding more than them.
Yeah, I've had a lot of shooting like he's selfish, he's this. Lombe, I like to work at a certain speed. If you're slow, I'll leave you. And that's why most of the times I'll probably do things on my own or alone, like a lone ranger, because I want to move at a certain pace. And when a time when we're doing Doric and the Big Dudes, I told the guys that look, we're gonna move space. We were performing at Lusaka Playhouse, and then all of a sudden the management there says, "No, you guys, you're not gonna perform here. Pay extra money."
Why
Because
are you
you've got a big audience. I said to myself, this is the last time I'm coming. Okay, I didn't mean it really, but I said, no, Karaka Pomp, Karaka. It's the last time I'm performing at this place. But we didn't announce it. Karaka Kutum Perfect. It's the last time I'm performing at this place. If a guy wants to do it, let him come and announce that we are stopping the performance because we're asking them to pay more. We paid what was the value they charged us. So I said, I'm not going to do that. So now I took my words seriously and I went around looking for a space. So I asked Uncle Wesley Kaonga, I said, is the government complex? Because we heard rumors. Is there an auditorium? There's an auditorium. He said, no, actually, it's done already. It's there. I went there and the management said, no, we've never used it, but it's there. I was the first to use that place.
For stand-up comedy?
Yes, for everything. It was just done and it was just seated. There was no bar, there was nothing, there was just an auditorium. And I went there and said, "Man, I'm going to use this thing."
And true to your word, you've never gone back to
the soccer players. Well, as we went on, I would go there and
as a Christian.
Even if you change here, the pie, you know, forgiveness. So I took that stance and I told my guys, the guys I was performing this, the guys, we're going to go to the government complex. No, we can't fill up that. So okay, if we fill it up, I'll pay. I will pay you that time. I said I'll pay you 5p each. That was a lot of money then, eh? So I'll pay you 5p each if we fill it up, because normally like we would get maybe I'm a 2p each after a show, so 2 million then, eh? So I'll pay you 5p each. So okay, let's bet. And I went all out
to advertise the show.
And there's a Gondwe at the Post newspaper, and he did what he could for me. I went to Smooth IK and said, "Hey man, I need advert on TV." He says, "Look, our policy as NBC is to support the arts, so we'll push for you." He pushed me adverts. I put banners all over Lusaka. There was no much of social media. I pressed it on Facebook. It was just starting up
at the time.
And I put banners. I was waking up early in the morning to go and check the banners, make sure they're up every single morning. And I went to Barclays. I pushed the sponsors the venue. So they paid for the venue. Then I went to MTN. I said, "Look, I need posters and so forth." They said, "Okay, we can do a branded posters and tickets." Running around, one-man army. And we did the show for 2 nights. And the guys at the playhouse were mocking. They're never going to fill it. If they get half, maybe. Not full house.
And what did you get?
And we got full house on both nights. And first night, everybody said it's not going to be full because Esther Piri was fighting.
So
we were jam-packed.
Wow.
We ran out of tickets, I think, 3 days before the show. Sold out. 2 nights, 1,250 seater.
Wow.
For 2 nights, we actually had to push in some more chairs. And everybody was just in awe. It's never happened again.
After that time,
It's never happened.
would you
after.
describe that period as your highest moment?
I think that was my highest moment in the
Dared,
performing arts.
and
I
you dared to
I
win.
did it, and I introduced stand-up comedy. The next time we had a full house at Mulungushi was when Trevor Noah came to perform, but that was one night. I did
Two nights. The
a
name,
row.
the name speaks for itself. When you sit in your living room right now, do you feel you've had a life well lived?
Absolutely. I have received favor from up above. No doubt about it. And I think sometimes I say, oh, I'm not as wealthy as I would have loved to be, but I think I've enjoyed my journey as a performing artist. I have met presidents. I've sat with presidents in the office. I start at State House. I start with FTJ just next to me. I sat with ECL at the presidential guest house in Kitwe. And I have had that opportunity to converse and be recognized by presidents. I went to do a private birthday party for the late RB, RB, and RB just loved me like two bits. If I was going to do and take advantage to get government contracts and so forth because of my relationship with the president, I would have done that. But I was so convinced to myself. I said, look, if I tread outside,
It's going to cost me.
no, not really. If I tread outside, I will leave this, and who's going to push it?
And now we're seeing young people that you have pushed who call you Uncle Bob. The likes of the Ndinemas,
Yes.
Bobwe, you name it. The whole Comedians Association, they look up to you now.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the Dorica brand resurfacing after such a long time. You went quiet.
I went quiet. Well, partly because after COVID, we didn't have the audience. Everybody couldn't just come to the audience.
it went virtual.
So it's, yeah. So I decided, look, I'm going to come back now. And because I think Dorica has not yet completed our mission. Because my next step is to do an animated version of Dorica.
Wow.
But I said, look, before I do the animated version, I really need to revisit the character and also just reinvent the character into the people's minds, tell them that it's still there. So once we do that, once we do the animated version, it's something that is acceptable already. I did my sitcom, and I think for me, I said to myself, for me to be a complete comedian, to be satisfied, I need to do a movie, I need to do a series. I need to do a movie, I need to do an animated series. And that is my goal.
So that's what we are looking forward to now.
That's what we're looking
A
forward to.
movie and an animated series of Dorica.
Of Dorica, yes.
The character Dorica itself is what has, of course, blown more than the Bob name. When you first came out as Dorica, how did your children, family, how did they receive it?
The family was okay because then you always known me as an actor.
Even in the home?
Yes, my kids grew. All my kids were born when I was already performing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were watching me when they were small as an actor on stage and so forth, doing comedy. So they understood that fact, and because they've got the DNA, the talent, the art DNA, so they understand what is acting and what is
And
not
they're
acting.
able to relate.
Yeah, and when dad is serious and when dad is
He
dad
is
is
being
fun,
serious.
and probably they'll tell you, nah, that is not fun, you know.
And so, you've deliberately kept them away from the public eye.
Yeah,
And we see mostly, like, you see how some celebrities will have their families in their face. And sometimes you get to know your children when you're celebrating their birthdays and all. Has that been a deliberate move to protect them from the ugly side of things?
exactly. You know, we, especially social media, we've got a lot of idiots there. Sorry to say.
Uncle
Well,
Bob,
like,
but not anymore.
sure of it. You know, whether you like it or not, we have a lot of uninformed people, uneducated people, and who just come on there because they've not succeeded, and will just hit on anyone who has succeeded. Who are frustrated, and they want everybody else to be frustrated like them. So sometimes it's not. I'll tell you that influencers are bullied every day.
We see it all the time.
Now, if an influencer bullies one of them, a social media person, yeah, why are you doing this? Yeah, what?
Be the bigger person.
Logic was talking about the same thing Cosmos was saying in his post. He says, you know, we get bullied every time. You are a celebrity. You are people.
It's like you owe
and
them.
Pull you. Some of them will even punch you a little bit and so forth. We misunderstand a celebrity in this country. We look at the celebrity as a plaything. In other countries, it's the most protected species. Here, it's a plaything. Anybody or anyone who wants to get at somebody, they'll get at a celebrity.
And then they'll feel
They
like they
don't
have some
know
relevance.
they don't know what we go through. They don't know our hurts. They don't know what pains us. They don't know what stresses we go through, what pressures we have. As far as they're concerned, they see Bob with a smile, they see Dorica dancing, all is well. There's no life after that. You see, and I think it's something that people ought to talk about. That treat a celebrity as a person.
And I think, wow, some wisdom there. I think we've gotten some great wisdom there. Uncle Bob, as we wind up, the Dorica brand is back and we're looking forward to a movie and animation. And tonight is going to be a big night.
Tonight is the night in $1. Yeah, we're performing tonight at the Lowenthal Theatre. And why Lowenthal Theatre? It's a theatre club. It's a theatre house, which I feel Yundola people have really neglected using for that purpose. Exactly.
That's our council.
Well. It's not the council that's going to perform there. It's you guys. It's a performing artist in Ndola. We've got a lot of performing artists in Ndola. But they just shun to utilize it. They shun to go and perform. And believe me, they would point at the Rotary guys that, no, by Rotary, by shun our council. But these guys are open to say, come, bring a play, we'll sell it for you. We'll help you produce your play. But nobody in Ndola is walking up to Lowenthal Theatre. And that's why we said we're going to have our show at the Lowenthal Theatre to help bring it back to life theatrically. And it's not a conference hall, it's a theatre hall. So every artist, and I would just like to urge, especially the artists, to come through and watch. You know, my artists are offer a ticket.
But complimentary.
But you won't learn if you don't see how it is done.
If you don't buy even that ticket.
If you don't buy the ticket and come and watch, because you learn by watching. If there's no school, you learn by watching. Right now, I think there's not been any political goodwill to set up schools for the creatives. And that's a problem. But I would urge all the young men, all those that want to be content creators, to come and watch and see how it's professionally done. Because this issue of content creating on social media, people are now looking like idiots.
Get ready with me.
This thing of just getting a camera and dancing, twerking, or making silly out of yourself. Yeah,
Dorica, I'm work for my number. Today, Dodo is coming out.
Dodo, come tonight and we'll see the real Auntie Dodo, and she's got a lot of things to say. And I think I'm very happy with the flow of tickets, sale of tickets, people that are coming out to help. Loon TV, for instance. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, you just said, come over, Uncle Bob.
Of course.
Let's see what we can do.
We're the home of lifestyle television.
The radio stations have been very supportive. Radio Chimwemwe, Sun FM. And I would say almost everybody that I've walked into his office have been really, really accepting, kind of. The DC's office.
Looks like we missed Auntie Dodo.
Exactly, I think so too. She's a good woman.
She is. I mean,
she'll tell you it as it is. So she'll tell you what you don't want to hear.
Please, Auntie Dodo, how am I looking?
No, come in the evening.
You tell me how I'm looking in the evening.
Exactly, come in the evening. Come in the evening, she'll tell you.
We've had the joy of speaking to Uncle Bob, the legendary Bob Nkosha, of course, alias or also known as Dorica Ndaifulila. You know, she has a very beautiful history, and I hope we get to know the history behind Dorica someday, because today we focused on Uncle Bob, who has preempted that we'll be getting an animated series of Dorica and also a movie. I hope I could feature in that movie. There's a bit of some acting in me.
Yeah, because there will be a character of a one-hit wonder. So,
One hit wonder. Uncle Bob, thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you, and thank you very much for having me here.
Well, it's Luna today, and you're watching us on Luna Lifestyle TV. Stay tuned for more programming.